As a producer, there are those conversations that you go back to and feel most proud of for having pursued and shared with the viewers. These may have been conversations that have changed the game or changed the way that, as a producer, I wanted to continue making an impact in sports. And these are my conversations. My story one, it has to be with the Soweto Pool Association. I remember Wetsi Morake, when we met him, he had been talking much about how pool is growing in the community of Soweto as well. And I wanted to be part of that because the part of it that he talked about just how much in terms of financing or maybe support they were not getting. I mean, you talk about the times where you go and represent the country outside, but you have to raise your own money or you have to cop out of your own pocket. So I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to share his story because he was a world champ, and not just a South African champ, a world champ in whether it's your 8-ball, whether it's your pool, whether it's your snooker. So this is a guy that was really representing South Africa. And plus the fact that pool was just one of those small sports. It's not like your soccer, it's not like your rugby, but I think in terms of the coverage that we had to give it, we can put it at that level that it becomes like your soccer, because these guys are doing great things for South Africa. In terms of the recognition, Wetsi, I mean, if it's from the Department of Sports and Recreation, how's the recognition there? And how's the coverage when it comes to the media and sponsorship for your guys, allowing you guys to go to the world and represent South Africa?
Well, one thing I can tell you, from the time I became world champion, obviously pool was absolutely not recognized, hardly ever on media. For me, I know, thanks to Soweto TV, they've started, since we started the association in 2007, they've always been there with us through thick and thin.
My second conversation will have to be the one that I just recently had with Tiko Modise on his book, The Curse of Tiko Modise. I think that one really touched me because we went through the story. I'd been a big fan of Tiko Modise throughout the years as a footballer, and I knew part of the trials and tribulations that he had to go through at the time, where his life went and nosedive. So from this guy that was driving an Aston Martin that I saw at the opening of the Nike Center in Soweto, to this guy that now wasn't playing his best football, I wanted to be the part of the story, and I wanted to be the one that shares it with the Soweto community, which is the same community that was his first supporters, if I may put it in that case. There you are bonded with football. The love blooms, but Ekaya, the parent, which is your father, doesn't approve of the game at the time for you, but you make a way out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was very disturbing as well to understand that my dad didn't want me to play football at all. And from what I heard as well, that he was actually good because he also played with Max Maponyana, I think, in the amateur side. So for me, actually, to be finding that I'm not supposed to play, it kind of like made me more interested in playing, because I really wanted to find out how good I am.
Finally, it will have to be my two conversations actually mixed up for the NBA. The first one was Amadou Kalafo, which was on the second episode, Dlala Mzansi. Then we were still going to the Africa game against the world. Because basketball is growing in South Africa, and I'm a big fan of basketball, I've always wanted to be the catalyst that grows the game on the broadcast side of things. And of course, later on in the time, I've had an interview with NBA legend Jerome Williams as well on the growth of NBA Africa. Talking about the 2015 edition, what would you say are the areas that Africa benefited in from that time coming to now?
Look, it's sports and really being on the global stage. Obviously, the NBA is, for me, the best professional sport league in the world. And, the diversity we talked about, basketball is the #2 sport in the world. Players from all over the world coming to Johannesburg to really, celebrate the growth of the game on the continent.
Basketball is really growing here, and the biggest thing that we look into is like the development of the game in Africa, to be specific. And you've got your Basketball Without Borders. I mean, on your side as well, you've got the JYD project that is promoting the development of basketball. When you look at basketball in South Africa, the growth stages of it, I mean, with the junior basketball festivals coming on, you've been person that have been part of the development all the time. How have you seen the transition of basketball growing in South Africa?
Wow, as a global ambassador, I really see the development of basketball really starting with the coaches. The level of coaching when I first arrived was in the beginner stage, because we had to tell and teach a lot of the coaches how to teach, what to teach, how to explain to the players what they wanted them to do on the court. Now, as I come back, and I was just in Nigeria, I saw the development because the kids knew the skills. I could get them in drills faster. I could get them to understand the drills and the complexity of what I was trying to get them to see.
We continue the special after the break, touching on the sporting code that I'm most passionate about, athletics, and sports journalist Jasper Loyi joins me to dissect the good year that has been in track and field.